Everybody set in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, set. It's kind of like building a skyscraper. We have it all framed out and everything, and we're starting to add floors, and by the end of the season it'll all be complete.
We've probably put in, gosh, definitely like 10 hours a week, I would say.
So it definitely takes a lot of time out of your summer, and this is your main priority throughout the entire summer.
They've been working really, really hard to get to this point, but they've been pushing hard, hundreds of hours per kid already.
You practice so much, and then when you get to perform, it's just you get to show all that off and just show everybody what the Lincoln Band is actually about.
Pretty incredible to think all of the skills that we've learned throughout this entire process are going to stick with us for life. So it's a lot of active thinking on your feet, and then again, the teamwork, all those skills that you build to come together and perform this one show.
I've been playing since 5th grade, and I know it's just taught me a lot about like how to be creative, and I think that's a great skill. So I like actually seeing like the expressions on people's faces, and
What is really good job on that first horns up. Okay, you gotta want it, be that aggressive on the horns down.
just the intensity, people buying into the band and our show.
Finally, you get to show it off. It's something I'm so proud of.
Because I know that when those kids put the uniform on, it's like putting a superhero costume on, and they transform. It's going to be fun to see what kind of energy they bring to the first performance. It's going to be a lot of nerves out there. I mean, some of these kids have never done it before, and it'll be really thrilling for them, but that's just going to hook them.
I'm proud to be a part of it because everything just flows so nicely, and it's like a big team effort. It's just one of the best feelings to finally perform in front of a crowd, show off what we have.
We're going to move the show along because we're going to get this baby in tonight come hell or high water.
It's been a really wet year, as most know. This spring was kind of bad and a lot of flooding, so when tracks get so wet, it takes a lot for them to dry out.
Oh yeah. It's been a roller coaster of emotions, there's no doubt about it, especially on days where you wake up and the sun is shining, and about 3, 4 o'clock you see black clouds in the sky, and then along about 5 or 6 o'clock there's rain here, and it's frustrating.
I think we've only actually run 6 nights so far this year, so it's been quite a struggle.
Sioux Falls is so excited to have racing back in the area again.
Well, it's real nice to be able to come out here and finally have a track that's close to home that we can come to, don't got to drive so far, and someplace I can bring my little brother out to. And I'd say watching the sprint cars. What's your favorite thing? Watching the sprint cars.
It's fun driving these things. There's never boring, and they're just they're a hoot.
Checkered flag waves, heat race number 2 of the...
We say 100% chance of thunder. We hope that it's of the race car kind and not of the weather kind.
One car on like a no-touch rule or something. He's been doing that since the heat race.
Hopefully it can stay dry. We can get a few more good racing nights out here, and yeah, just come out and have some fun.
You always go for the gusto. Whether it's going to rain or not, you make the effort and do the best you can, and if it rains out, well, it was fun trying.
Good evening, Kelsey. We are out here on 69th Street facing the east, and as you can see, the rain has stopped, but the impacts from it are looming large as this road is taking on a lot of water. And
a call come in at 5:04 p.m. of a small engine, small frame aircraft that went down in the 4200 block of Birchwood. We've got reports of exterior damage to one home. 4 houses have been evacuated at this time. 1 soul has been lost, and that's confirmed. And that's kind of where we're at right now. Obviously, a lot of response from Sioux Falls Fire Rescue, Sioux Falls Police Department, and South Dakota Highway Patrol.
The road behind me continues to be blocked off, and one neighbor told me that it sounded like a motorcycle or car speeding on the street, followed by a dive bomb, and then he saw the explosion.
At this year's open house in the Marion School District.
Cool.
Got markers. You know how you buy me skinny ones?
Mm-hmm.
These kind I like better because they go a lot faster.
A weight has been lifted for the parents. Parents get to skip the school supply shopping trip because everything has already been purchased.
These are the books I really like.
The Marion Business and Professional Association decided to provide basic school supplies to preschool through high school. That's around 188 kids.
It's just our way of giving back to the community, thanking everybody that supports our businesses in town.
They were thinking when they thought about you guys, huh?
Yeah.
The only supplies parents will need to worry about are backpacks, clothing, and calculators.
Being a single parent, it helps a lot. So, I mean, that was pretty nice of the people of Marion to do that.
The association said they had the finances to do this, so they decided to make back to school a little easier for the parents this year.
You know, my wife and I had 5 children. They all went to school here, so we went through school shopping for a long time, many years. And on top of the expense, it's the hassle of finding everything.
And that's been a huge relief. And it's been a ton of fun to be here tonight, see all the kids come running into their classrooms, see all their new school supplies, compare colors, compare what they got. It's just been a really fun night.
I thought it was really cool how they just bought them for us.
Parents like this because it allows no child to feel left out.
We all get the same color so we don't fight over colors.
Whoa, you got your own binder?
While parents are grateful, they're not surprised because this is what small towns do.
Neighbors help neighbors. So it just kind of gives us a feeling of unity.
In Marion, Miranda Page, KDLT News.
Oh my goodness. Hard to even describe your emotions. It was tough.
What so much damage can do in so little time.
Intensity was kind of a surprise to us anyway. They were talking severe thunderstorm with possibility of hail. We didn't get much of the hail, but we got a little more than the 60-mile-an-hour winds they were talking about.
A tornado hit the town of Burke at 10:30 p.m. Tuesday night, knocking power lines down and leaving the entire town without power. This morning, they began to take in the damage it left behind.
It's going to be a tremendous loss to the community.
The Civic Center, known as the social hub of the community, was ripped from wall to wall.
The whole end, I mean, everything is gone there.
The school suffering damage so close to school starting up again.
That's going to affect school starting. I know the school board is in meeting right now trying to determine their game plan and what they're going to do.
And the Burke Building Center.
They had 2 separate buildings. One housed their lumber and one took care of their hardware. And they're both totally, I mean, there's nothing there.
With so many trees blown over, they had to be taken out by the truckload. The damage that's been done ranges from garages blown in and windows shattered.
As you can see, I have a curtain hanging out my window.
To houses with walls completely ripped off. Surrounding communities, friends, and family haven't hesitated to lend a helping hand.
People have been walking by and visiting, and saying they're sorry that it happened.
Mayor Glover said they're a pretty resilient town.
I think we'll survive. It'll take a while. We're pretty good at stepping up when we have to. So
we'll work together to get it back to Burke.
In Burke, Jenna Lemaire, KDLT News.
The Palisades can be a great summer getaway for families to get outdoors and experience nature, but park officials say it often becomes overcrowded. While in office, Dennis Dugard focused on enlarging South Dakota's park system. Even though he's now retired, he wants to continue to help out.
Right now we've got, when the land was acquired,
by endorsing the Palisades expansion.
Palisades State Park, being one of the smallest parks in our system, here we're closest to the largest population center in our state. And it just makes sense to try and enlarge Palisades to better accommodate the demand that we're seeing from people in the Sioux Falls area.
The Palisades are currently 167 acres. However, this land around the park recently became available. The South Dakota Parks and Wildlife Foundation purchased this 267 acres. That more than doubles the size of the park.
Right down there, and then it goes all the way up to the, really to the top of that ridge.
Currently, $1.6 million in private donations needs to be raised for the project. Dugard and his wife donated $50,000 left over from his campaign fund.
Anyone reckless enough to support my campaign for governor, they're kind of giving to the park through us. And we're hoping that that example will inspire others to do likewise.
Game Fish and Parks developed this map.
The current park is outlined in the yellow, and the additional land is outlined in black.
It includes suggested ideas of how the new land could be utilized. Dugard says he'd like to see pollinators planted for insects.
I also think we could plant a lot of trees in the area where people will be camping. When you camp, you want to have a little bit of a cloistered feeling. You want to have plants around you, and you don't want to really see the camper next to you necessarily.
Right now, this land is just green pasture and cornfields, so it'll need to be transformed into a more park-like setting.
It'll take a number of years. I don't know that I'll be around when the park is really looking spectacular.
But Dugard is confident that when it is done, it'll be a great addition to South Dakota. At Palisades State Park, Miranda Page, KDLT News.
Well, the story is here, you know?
There you go, dear. Thank you.
We go to Iowa, go to Nebraska. They might not have heard of Chislik 100 miles away. And that's really unique. Chislik is ours, and it's something that we celebrate, and we found out that people across the country and across the state are really excited about Chislik too.
So we're trying this Chislik here for the first time. We've done Chislik in the past. We do the real deal. I mean, it's lamb Chislik. I'm kind of excited to try it here at the Chislik Fest in Freeman.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna find a lot of variety out here. Chislik can be, we're gonna have pork, goat, lamb, mutton, and beef Chislik out here.
Prefer the lamb. Mutton's second. Beef, I don't necessarily consider that Chislik myself. So. We lived in Freeman here for about 15 or 16 years, so it's always nice to come back to the real Chislik too. So.
You know, farming is our #1 economy in the state of South Dakota, and of course, you know, to support the lamb industry and the beef industry for Chislik being sold here today, I think it's an awesome deal.
You're seeing a bridge between agriculture and food in a way that's really compelling and interesting.
We're the only state in the union that has Nosh as our official name for Chislik. So we did that a couple years ago, so I'm here.
And I go to Iowa, go to Chicago, and they all think you're crazy. And that's fun. I mean, Shashlik to Chislik, from the Ukraine to Freeman, it's a story, that's a story that sells. It's story of gold, it's gold. All because of immigrants that brought over a dish and developed from the farms and is now being brought to the nation. And it's a cool thing.
Smoky goodness on these ways, making the meat happy.